This is my ACL return to play test. This is what I use with all my ACLs coming back from surgery so that we know exactly where they're at and we can decrease the chance of re-tear as much as possible because we know exactly and accurately where they're at. When I'm making determinations about whether an athlete is ready to return to their sport, I like to assess as much as possible and get as much objective data as possible, and I like to guess as little as possible. For my ACL return to play test, I break it into 7 different categories: strength, endurance, power, balance, girth, agility, and jump. I feel that these 7 categories, when assessed and put together, form a really strong body of work to be able to accurately assess where the surgical leg is compared to the not surgical leg. For strength, we use a Tyndek and we measure the amount of force that the quad and hamstring can produce at a 90-degree angle. For endurance, I feel like if they can do a single leg wall sit for 30 seconds, both on the affected and unaffected leg, we're in pretty good shape there. Power-wise, we use a battery of 4 hop tests: single hop, triple hop, crossover hop, and a 6-meter time top. As well as in this category, we'll do a single leg vertical jump on a jump mat and assess the height. Balance-wise, we'll use a Y balance test and we'll assess the posterior medial, and posterior lateral balance stability of each side. We'll take a girth measurement. We'll measure the circumference of the knee at each superior pole, and then we'll measure 5 inches up the quad and take another circumflexial measurement. For agility, we do a 5-10-5 test, looking for the athlete to be able to complete a 5-10-5 test in under 11.5 seconds. Finally, we'll go back to the vertical jump and we'll assess the time off the ground for the athlete. Everything is taken as a best of value. The 2 categories that we'll take a 3-time average of are all of the power testing and all of the balance testing. With these numbers, we'll calculate a torque to body weight ratio. Torque to body weight ratio is critical because it takes the amount of force you can generate generally from your quad, but your hamstring as well, and relates it to your body weight, giving another objective measure. Finally, we'll put all these numbers together and we'll calculate a total LSI, a total limb symmetry index. This is the final number where you want to be between about 95% to 105% of the opposite leg. That's a really strong indicator that we're ready to return to sport as injury risk-free as possible, although it's never 100%. Finally, we'll do ACL RSI, which assesses in an objective way psychological return to sport readiness.